It was a warm Saturday afternoon. Families were enjoying themselves at the neighborhood pool. Children splashed in the water. Parents sat nearby, chatting and sipping drinks. Everything looked peaceful. No one knew that something big was about to happen, something that would shock the entire community. At one corner of the pool stood a young black boy. He was 14 years old. His name was Aaron. He wore an old blue uniform and held a mop. He wasn't there to swim. He was just the pool cleaner. People walked past him like he wasn't there. No one smiled at him. No one cared. He had gotten used to it. On the other side of the pool was a girl named Emma. She was 12. Her blonde hair shone in the sun. She was laughing and playing in the water. Her mother, Mrs. Wallace, was known by everyone. She was rich, respected, and proud. Emma seemed happy and full of life, but within seconds, everything changed. No one saw it happen. Emma slipped under the water. She didn't scream. She didn't wave her hands. She just sank. Her little body struggled quietly beneath the surface. People kept talking. No one noticed, except Aaron. Without thinking, Aaron threw his mop and ran. He jumped into the pool with his shoes and clothes on. He swam fast. He reached Emma and pulled her out. She was unconscious. Her face was pale. Aaron placed her on the ground. He had never taken a first aid class, but he had watched CPR videos on his old phone. He began pressing her chest and giving her air. That's when people started noticing. A small crowd formed. Some looked confused, some scared. Then came Mrs. Wallace. She saw her daughter lying on the ground, and Aaron, wet and breathing hard, over her. She didn't ask what happened. She didn't look around. She didn't even check if Emma was breathing. She screamed in shock and anger. She ran to Emma and pushed Aaron aside. "Get away from my daughter," she shouted. "What did you do to her?" Her voice was full of hate and fear. "You tried to hurt her, didn't you? Someone call the police." The crowd stood in silence. Aaron tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come out. His heart was racing. His clothes were dripping. He couldn't believe what was happening, and no one stood up for him. The police arrived within minutes. Sirens screamed through the streets. Officers ran into the pool area. They pointed guns at Aaron. "Hands behind your head," one shouted. "Get on the ground." Aaron froze. Then slowly he dropped to his knees and obeyed. They handcuffed him and pulled him away like a criminal. Just then, Emma opened her eyes, and what she said next would change everything. As the police pushed Aaron into the back of the car, Emma sat up slowly. She looked around, confused. Her mother hugged her tightly, crying, but Emma gently pulled away. Her voice was weak, but clear. "Where's the boy who saved me?" she asked. Mrs. Wallace froze. "What do you mean?" she asked. Emma looked at her. "The boy, the cleaner. He jumped in and pulled me out. He saved my life." There was silence. A few people started whispering. Some stepped back. Mrs. Wallace looked around, confused and angry. "No," she said. "He was over you when I came. He was hurting you." Emma shook her head. "No, Mom. He saved me. I slipped. I went under. I couldn't breathe. He pulled me out. He gave me CPR." The crowd started talking. Some people nodded slowly. A woman in the crowd said, "I think I saw him jump in." But it was too late. Aaron had already been taken to the station. No one had stopped it, not even the ones who suspected the truth. At the police station, Aaron sat alone. His hands were still cuffed. His wet clothes clung to his skin. He didn't cry. He didn't speak. He just stared at the floor. An officer entered and asked him questions. Aaron explained what happened. His voice was soft but steady. "I saw her drowning. I jumped in. I didn't do anything wrong." But the officer didn't believe him. "Why were you near her? You're just a cleaner. Why didn't anyone else say anything? Aaron had no answer because he knew no one had defended him. Meanwhile, back at the pool, a man walked in from the office. He looked serious. "I checked the CCTV," he said. "You all need to see this." The footage showed everything, clear as day. Emma going under the water, Aaron dropping his mop and jumping in without a second thought, pulling her out, giving her CPR, no hesitation, no delay. Mrs. Wallace's face turned pale. Her hands began to shake. The officer at the pool made a call. "Bring the boy back, now." Aaron was released from the cell. They told him it was a misunderstanding, but the damage was done. His heart was heavy. He was embarrassed, hurt. He walked out with his head down. Back at the pool, people waited. Some were ashamed, some were silent. When Aaron returned, Emma ran to him. She hugged him and said, "Thank you." But Aaron didn't smile. He looked at her, then looked away. Mrs. Wallace walked forward. Her voice was quiet. "I'm sorry," she said. But Aaron didn't answer. He simply walked past her. The crowd made way for him. For the first time, they saw him. But the story was far from over. As the days passed, the story of what happened at the pool spread like wildfire. News outlets picked it up. Social media exploded with opinions, and people began to talk about Aaron and Emma. The public was torn. Some praised Aaron as a hero. Others believed Mrs. Wallace's version, that he was a threat. But as more details came to light, the story began to change. Aaron tried to stay out of the spotlight, but he couldn't. Everywhere he went, people whispered. Some of them looked at him with admiration, but most looked at him with suspicion. He was just a poor black boy, cleaning pools for a living. What was he doing in a pool with a rich girl? At school, Aaron became an outcast. The whispers followed him. His classmates didn't know what to think. Some avoided him, while others felt bad for him. But Aaron didn't want their pity. He didn't want anyone to feel sorry for him. He just wanted to be left alone, to go back to his normal life. But there was no going back. Meanwhile, Mrs. Wallace faced growing pressure. Her phone rang nonstop. Journalists came to her house. People left angry comments online. Her friends questioned her. "How could you accuse him like that?" they asked. "You saw the footage. He saved your daughter's life." But Mrs. Wallace wasn't ready to admit she was wrong. She couldn't. It was too much. The shame was too great. She had let her fear and prejudice blind her. She had acted out of anger and hatred without thinking. And now she had to face the truth. At night, she sat alone in her large, empty house. The weight of her actions pressed down on her. She knew what she had done. She had hurt an innocent boy. She had accused him without reason. And she had almost ruined his life. Emma, on the other hand, couldn't stop thinking about Aaron. She had always been taught to be kind to everyone, no matter their color or background. But seeing how her mother treated him, how she treated someone who saved her life, made Emma question everything. She felt guilty. She felt ashamed. She wanted to apologize. But would Aaron forgive her? Would he forgive her mother? One evening, Emma made up her mind. She was going to find Aaron and apologize. She didn't care what anyone else thought. She had to make things right. The next day, Emma walked to Aaron's house. It wasn't easy to find. It was a small, worn-down apartment in the corner of the neighborhood. The walls were cracked, and the yard was empty except for a few weeds. Emma hesitated at the door, but she knocked. Aaron opened it slowly. He didn't expect anyone, certainly not Emma. "I'm sorry," she said, looking him in the eyes. "I should have never let my mom accuse you like that. You saved my life and I never thanked you. I don't know if you'll forgive me, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry." Aaron stood there, frozen for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. "I appreciate that," he said, but his voice was distant, almost cold. "But I don't think it changes much." Emma looked down. "I know," she whispered, "but I wanted to try." "I didn't want any of this to happen," Aaron said. "I just wanted to do my job. I didn't ask for any of this." There was a long pause. Then Emma spoke again. "Do you think people will ever see me differently because of what my mom did?" Aaron's eyes softened. "I don't know, but you can't control what they think. You just have to be yourself, and you have to stand up for what's right, even when no one else does." Emma nodded. "I'll try." As she turned to leave, Aaron stopped her. "Wait." Emma turned back. "Yeah? I just wanted you to know something," Aaron said. "I wasn't trying to be a hero. I just did what I had to do. But I wish people could see me for who I am, not just because of what happened at that pool." Emma smiled. "I know, I see you." As she left, she felt a sense of peace. Maybe she couldn't fix everything, but at least she had taken the first step. Back at the Wallace household, things were getting worse. Mrs. Wallace couldn't escape the anger, the comments, the articles, the protests outside her house. They wouldn't stop, and it was getting harder to ignore the truth. One evening, she sat in front of her TV, watching the news about Aaron's story. The reporter spoke about his life, his struggle, his pain. He wasn't a criminal. He was a young boy who had been doing his job. He had saved a life, and now his own was in danger. Mrs. Wallace felt a lump in her throat. She couldn't keep running from this. She needed to make things right. She needed to apologize to Aaron and everyone else she had hurt. But it was too late to undo everything. The damage had been done, and the road to redemption wouldn't be easy. The city was no longer quiet. Protests had started outside the Wallace residence. People held signs that read, "Justice for Aaron," and "Apologize now." Her neighbors didn't wave at her anymore. Her friends stopped calling, and even at her workplace, people whispered behind her back. Mrs. Wallace, once proud and respected, now sat behind closed curtains. Her perfect world had shattered. Her own daughter barely spoke to her. Her husband stayed silent. He had watched the CCTV footage too, and he knew she had crossed a line. One morning, she opened her mailbox to find an envelope. It had no name, no return address. Inside was a single photo, a still from the CCTV footage, Aaron in the water, pulling Emma out. Emma's head tilted back, unconscious, Aaron's arms around her, saving her life. The photo spoke louder than words. Her hands trembled. Tears rolled down her cheeks. It was the moment that should have changed everything. But she had chosen to lie, to protect her pride, and now it was crushing her from inside. She turned on the TV. A live interview was airing. Aaron was speaking, the same boy she had accused of murder. "I didn't expect a thank you," Aaron said, looking straight into the camera. "But I didn't expect hate either. I saved someone because it was the right thing to do. But I never thought doing the right thing would nearly destroy my life." His voice was calm, but his eyes were filled with pain. The nation watched in silence. Some wept. Others clenched their fists. The truth was out, and the world had seen it. A powerful businessman watching the interview from his office paused the TV. His own son had once drowned. No one was there to save him. He remembered the pain, the helplessness, and now he saw a boy who had done what no one could do for his own child. The next day, Aaron received a call. It was from the businessman. "I want to meet you," he said. "No cameras, just you and me." Aaron hesitated, but agreed. They met at a cafe downtown. The man was kind, respectful. He offered Aaron a scholarship. "You have a future," he said. "Don't let what happened stop you. We need more young men like you." Aaron's eyes widened. But why me? Because you did something extraordinary, and the world should know who you really are. For the first time in weeks, Aaron smiled. Meanwhile, Mrs. Wallace called a press conference. She stood in front of dozens of reporters, her voice shaky. "I was wrong," she began. "I made a horrible mistake. I judged someone based on the color of his skin. I let my fear guide my actions, and it almost destroyed an innocent life. I'm sorry, to Aaron, to his family, to the world." The crowd went silent. Then questions started flying. Will you resign from the charity board you lead? Will you publicly support Aaron's education? Will you visit his family and apologize in person? She didn't have all the answers, but one thing was clear: she could no longer run from what she had done. That evening, Mrs. Wallace and Emma walked up to Aaron's front door. They knocked. His mother opened the door, shocked to see them. Aaron stepped forward. There was silence, a long, heavy silence. "I came to apologize," Mrs. Wallace said softly. "Not because the world is watching, but because I finally see what I did." Aaron looked at her, then at Emma. "I didn't want revenge," he said. "I just wanted the truth." Tears welled up in Mrs. Wallace's eyes. "I hope one day you'll forgive me." Aaron didn't answer immediately, but after a moment he stepped aside. "Would you like to come in?" It wasn't just an invitation into his home. It was a step toward healing, toward understanding, toward change. The days that followed were calmer, but far from ordinary. Aaron's name spread across news channels, blogs, and social media. People who once ignored him now looked at him with respect. His story had touched hearts far beyond the city. Schools invited him to speak. Activists called him brave. Strangers sent him letters, thanking him for his courage and kindness. But Aaron stayed grounded. He still swept the pool area each morning, still helped his mother at home. Fame hadn't changed who he was. One afternoon, the wealthy businessman who had offered him the scholarship returned. This time, he brought something unexpected: documents, records, photos. "I looked into your background, Aaron," the man said carefully. "And I think you should see this." Aaron flipped through the papers. His hands shook. There were photos of a young soldier, letters from years ago, a name that felt strangely familiar. "That's your father," the man said. Aaron froze. "My father left when I was 2, he whispered. "We never heard from him again. He was a decorated war hero. He saved lives, but after returning from service, he struggled. He tried to reach your mother. She moved. They lost contact. He died 5 years ago, in a fire saving 2 children. Aaron's eyes welled up. "He was a hero," the man added, "just like you." Aaron looked away, overwhelmed. For years he thought his father had abandoned them, but now the truth stung and healed at the same time. That evening, Aaron sat with his mother. They went through the photos together. His father in uniform, holding baby Aaron in his arms. A letter written in messy handwriting, saying he wanted to come back, that he loved them, that he was sorry for everything. His mother cried. So did Aaron. "I wanted to protect you," she said. "I didn't know how to tell you. I was angry, but he tried, Aaron. He really tried." Aaron nodded slowly. His past, once filled with silence and shadows, was finally opening up. A few days later, a community event was held in the park. A new statue was being unveiled, dedicated to local heroes, and Aaron was one of them. Mrs. Wallace and Emma sat in the front row. The same woman who had once accused him now clapped as his name was called. Aaron stepped up to the stage, holding a small photo of his father. "I stand here today because of the love I received and the hate I endured," Aaron began. "But most of all, I stand here because I chose kindness, even when the world didn't choose it for me." The crowd applauded. People stood. Even the mayor wiped his eyes. Aaron wasn't just the boy who saved a life anymore. He was a symbol of something bigger. Months had passed since the day Aaron stood on that stage. He was no longer the quiet boy who swept the pool. He had become a voice, a symbol of strength and grace. Scholarships poured in. Interviews continued. Yet Aaron remained the same humble boy who still walked his little sister to school and helped his mom with groceries. But something else was happening too, behind the scenes. Mrs. Wallace had started a new initiative in the community, a program to support and uplift youth from disadvantaged backgrounds. The first name she put forward for leadership? Aaron. At first, he hesitated, but Emma spoke to him privately. "She's changed, Aaron. You changed her. Don't let your pain stop you from building something beautiful." He thought for a long time, then agreed, not for her, but for all the kids who would come after him. One sunny morning, Aaron stood at the ribbon-cutting ceremony of the new youth center. It was named the Rising Hope Foundation. Inside were books, computers, a swimming pool, and a plaque on the wall. "In honor of those who rise above hate with courage and love." Aaron's mother stood in the crowd, tears in her eyes. Mrs. Wallace and her husband were there too, quietly watching. Emma, now Aaron's close friend, cheered him on from the front. Then came an unexpected moment. An elderly woman stepped forward. Her voice trembled. "You don't know me," she said, "but I was your father's nurse at the Veterans Hospital. Before he passed, he made me promise, if I ever found you, I should give you this." She handed Aaron a small, worn-out envelope. Inside was a single photo, his father, smiling, holding Aaron as a toddler. On the back, a short note. "To my son, be the light I couldn't be. Forgive me, be better than me." Aaron clutched the photo to his chest. He didn't cry. He just closed his eyes and whispered, "I forgive you, Dad." The screen fades to black. Then comes the final narration, soft and powerful. Hate can build walls, but love builds bridges. One boy chose love, and in doing so, he changed not just his life, but the lives of everyone around him. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe our channel.